All right, we've got Tim here with All Affordable Pest Control, and he's going to talk to us about termites. Go ahead, Tim.
All right, I'm here digging around looking for, actually, there has been evidence of subterranean termites. Subterranean, sub of course meaning under, terranean meaning ground. Subterraneans actually live between 20 to 30 feet below the ground in a big colony with millions of termites. They love coming up to the above of the ground to eat wood. God actually has termites here to eat dead and decaying wood off the forest floor, so that more trees will grow to keep our percent of oxygen up. So therefore, they're getting all the dead wood out of the forest floor, so more trees to grow. Unfortunately, they don't know the difference between a dead tree and wood in a house. All wood has sugar in it. Subterranean termites have a real bad sweet tooth. They are actually going into the wood and eating the sap or sugar out of the wood and causing damage on the structural wood. Once they get into a home, they enter the home by two methods. Number one is they build what we call a mud tube. The mud tube is a tube of usually around,
I'm going down to look at where the tube could be.
A mud tube is usually about a quarter of an inch thick, and however long it takes to get into the deal. As you can see here, the dirt was just a little bit too high, but the termites will find a small crack or crevice to get into. All termites need are 64 thousandths of an inch to enter a home. So you're only talking a point of a sewing needle. Once into a home, and once they start eating the sugar out of that wood, they have to go down to the ground for water. They have to have water just like humans have to have water to survive. When they go down to the ground and get their water, they're actually going after a protozoan called sporatozoa that helps them break down the cellulose that's in the wood into glucose so they can digest it. Once they do that, then they actually feed the colony by two methods. One, by mouth to mouth, and a little bit of disgusting part of them is they actually feed anal to mouth, and that's how they survive. So they have to have the wood, they have to have the moisture, and they have to have the cellulose in order to survive.
And they don't have wings.
The subterraneans do not have wings until they mate, usually about the middle of February until the end of May is what we call swarming season. They turn black, have wings, and that's when they do that, they're called alates, A-L-A-T-E-S. And once they mate, they have to go down to the ground, have their eggs, and establish another colony. And that's how subterranean termites are.
All right, and so what are you doing now? You're digging?
I'm digging a trench. What we're doing is we're going to dig a trench to this brick ledge all the way around to the corner of the garage there, and we're going to fill it up with Primus. There's really two good termiticides out there, Primus 75 and Termidor. Primus 75, I've been in business since 1994. And so Primus has been excellent for us. What we like a little bit better than Primus, than Termidor, Primus, when you put it into the ground, it actually expands or spreads. So therefore you get a broader range of coverage, whereas Termidor, with the active ingredient fipronil in it, actually will stay put to where you put it. It doesn't spread.
Okay.
So that's why we like using Primus instead of Termidor. But both of them are excellent products.
Okay, so we found termites in this corner on a planter, a wood planter, and so we're still trying to see if they're underground, if they were just in the planter and just beginning to go into ground. But to be safe, we're going to go ahead and treat this area, because termites are underground. Is that correct?
That is correct. Under the ground. Sub meaning it's under, terranean meaning ground.
Okay, so that's how they move from area to area, always underground. And what time of year do you usually find them showing up?
Actually down here all year round, because when they build those mud tubes that I talked about, they actually control their own environment. It's actually always a relative humidity of 85% inside those tubes with a temperature of 74 degrees. It could be 110 out here. It's still going to be 74 degrees in their tube. It could be 30 degrees out here, and it's still going to be 74 inside their tubes.
Wow, so you should check all year long.
All year long.
And you can come out to any house
Yes, ma'am.
and check for termites?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you charge a fee to come check?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it's a free service
It's a free service.
for all affordable pest control with Tim to come out and check your house at any time and look for termites. Make sure you have none active. Make sure you have no conducive conditions, as they call it. That means that you have wood close to your house that could attract
High
termites.
soil's probably the most common one. We go out to a lot of houses and where you have your foundation and then you have your weed post down here at the bottom, and then what happens is you get a lot of mulch or dirt in and you stack it to where it goes above the weed post. And so even if a house is treated, then what happens is you got your chemical down here in the ground. Well, if you go put up a bunch of mulch, then termites are smart enough to where they bridge, what we call bridging, and that's bridging over the chemical because of the dirt being high and enter the home that way. That's why you should always keep your soil down lower than your wheat post or the top of your foundation and your brick ledge, is because the termites will bridge, enter through another little crack, get to the wall studs or the floor plate that way.
Good. And then as far as no conducive condition being like patio decks, any kind of wood,
Any kind of wood,
trellises.
Unfortunately, Confederate jasmine growing on side, any kind of vines, anything like
thing.
that is considered a favorable condition for termites, or as you said, better known as conducive condition.
Right. And then I heard one time they told me that inside the house you can see little pinholes going up the wall.
What termites do is when they get into the home, a lot of times they'll get into the home and they'll get on the floor plate, which the floor plate is the plate that holds the wall studs. Then they'll travel up the wall studs, and then they'll just be looking for more wood, so they'll pop through the sheetrock. Once they pop through the sheetrock, they'll form a little bitty hole. And that little hole is what we call pinholes. Pinholes, what they do is once they pop through, of course they're popping through to an open area, there's no wood, so therefore they turn around and they actually secrete over that hole, because termites are blind and they don't like any kind of light. They can sense light, and now how scientists know this, I don't have a clue, but they say that it's like humans laying in bed and, you know, our husband or wife, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, go over and flip on the light switch, how we can sense that light come on when we have our eyes closed. That's the same thing termites actually sense. And so they turn around, they cover up the hole with their secretion, and therefore everything is back to being totally black. They live in a totally black world. And how they sense things is actually through their antennae, the way most insects do. And then they actually give off a pheromone when they pass each other, and that's how they communicate.
Oh wow, so everything we wanted to know about termites and then some.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's good. So you're going to treat it now. It'll be a spot treatment.
We're digging a trench all the way from here to the corner. We're going to fill up that trench full of premise and get rid of them. And what they do is it gets on them and it forms a disease. So when they pass each other in their tunneling, then each termite gives the other one the disease, and they pass it on that way, and then it eliminates the whole colony.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. And you know what, Tim, you've been great. And remember,
Thank you very much.
all affordable pest control. He's available, and I will put his number and a contact information because I'm sure he's on Facebook. And
we have a Facebook page, website at allaffordable.co, and we've been around for 25 years.
Yeah, it's almost as long as I have.
All right.
So we thank you, Tim. And this is
thank
Suzette Peoples Properties, just helping to educate my clients and have a little bit of smarter home that you're living in and safer.
And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.